Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. Here are your hosts, Jeffrey Tobias Halter and Amanda Hammett.
This is Wind Down Wednesdays, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equality. And this is always best enjoyed with your favorite wind down beverage of choice. I'm Amanda Hammett, and this is my friend and colleague, Jeffrey Tobias Halter.
Thank you for joining us during Black History Month. We're focused on the role each of us can play to forge and promote a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace. I'm Amanda Hammett, and today I'm back to lattes. Jeff, what's your beverage of choice today?
You know, we're great minds think alike. I'm actually enjoying a decaf with a little natural vanilla creamer at the end of the day. So, it's February, it's a little chilly. But today it is my honor to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Sheila Robinson. Dr. Sheila Robinson is a celebrated publisher, best-selling author on leadership. She's an inspirational speaker and a talent innovation specialist. Her company, Diversity Woman Media, is recognized nationally as a leading multi-platform enterprise with program offerings that advance all dimensions of diversity and inclusion. She earned a master's and a doctorate of education from the University of Pennsylvania. On top of all that, she is an author of several books, Lead by Example, an insider's look at how to successfully lead in corporate America and entrepreneurship. Your Toolkit for Success, the Professional Woman's Guide to Advance into the C-Suite, and Dr. Sheila's latest work, Redefining Your Life Diet, Transform Your Look, Feel, and Perform, was published in October of 2021. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But diet is actually not the diet you think about. It's an acronym, and we're going to let her jump into that later.
Wonderful. Well, Sheila, I'm excited to have you. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. Tell us, what's your beverage today?
Well, hello, Amanda and Jeff. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and that fabulous introduction. I was thinking, Jeff, I need to take you around with me. But anyway, my beverage of choice is ginger tea. And the reason I love ginger so much, I've always, growing up as a little girl, I've always loved ginger ale. I don't know if you ever were told, if you get sick, get a ginger ale.
You'll do.
Ginger just has so many amazing components to it. It's first of all, like you said, it's February and it's warm. It feels clean and refreshing. And I'm a coffee drinker too, but I've leaned more towards tea now that I have changed my DIET, which is that acronym. I love ginger tea because it's very, very refreshing. Like I said, it is. It says that it has some benefits to helping if you're trying to lose weight. Benefits definitely for inflammation, and if you're ever nausea, of course you want that fresh, clean feeling of ginger. So mine is ginger tea.
All right. Well, I appreciate your ginger tea today because I'm gonna jump right into something kind of deep with you. So for the audience, let's hope you've got your ginger tea cooking too. Social justice is really a top of mind topic with Gen Zs and with millennials, and those are my people. We also talk a lot about performative DEI, and really we're not fans. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matters protests during the summer of 2020, many companies came forward with statements about their commitment to change and their diversity and inclusion initiatives. Since those statements were made, employees, stakeholders, shareholders, and the marketplace have been watching. How are you counseling organizations to pursue effective diversity and inclusion initiatives that actually achieve those goals and impact society? That's a big question, I know.
That is a big question. And Amanda, a lot has taken place. And when you were describing that scenario, what came to mind, if we the human nature that we have. So something, when we saw what happened to George Floyd, it takes race out of it. And I think that when corporate America saw what happened, just like if you saw an accident on the road, you would immediately jump out of your car. We're just as powerless as we can be. Think about it. We're powerless. But that human nature is to jump out and do something to help, to save a life, to create change, to make a different outcome from the disastrous look of what we're looking at. And that's what I think of when I see what happened. And companies did jump on board. They did start having town halls. They were very empathetic. That is key. They were very, most corporations, I'm going to say for the most part, most of them, I wouldn't even even give attention to some of the organizations that I have heard ignored. Very, very few. But those that are human, they were empathetic. They wanted to start having courageous conversations. They wanted to, talk to their leadership, their executive leadership team, to talk about, what can we do? And then the ones that really wanted to create change, they went outside of their organization to find proper resources to help them create change. And the reason I say that is because if change isn't happening, you don't need to try to do what you have. You need to go out and find the experts, the thought leaders. Many of them wrote lots of checks. Very, very grateful for that. But it goes further than just the dollar sign, and my daughter even taught me that. I have one daughter and she was like, "You're so busy all the time. All you do is give me money and you think that's enough." Well, no, that's not enough. You got to go the other part. So what I've been doing personally is when I talk to organizations, I'll ask them first and foremost, what are you trying to accomplish? And I think that any chief diversity officer that's hired within an organization, because many are hiring new CDOs, you need first and foremost ask them, what are you trying to accomplish? What is important to your legacy and your organization? Are you willing to do what it takes? And it's going to take more than just giving me a big salary to say, hey, we have a CDO. Are you really willing to do what it takes? Because today, organizations have to create cultures of inclusion, and it's going to require great change that they don't have the ability to do within their organization if it already doesn't exist. And I'll stop there in case you want to ask me anything more.
No, that's great. And I'm actually going to press a little bit more. You work with so many clients. Can you share a couple examples of actual clients or companies that you admire? Who's doing this well?
That's great.
And what does it look like?
Well, wow, Jeff, I have worked with so many companies, I would be afraid to name any, thinking that I have left some that are doing it out well. That
All
are
right.
not. So I will tell you now, go on my website, diversitywoman.com, and look at my partners. They, first of all, they are doing it well. And companies that work with me are seeing, hey, this is a woman-owned, Black-owned company. First of all, we're going out, and just being a woman alone is difficult, the CEO of my company. Then a woman of color. And then at the bottom of the woman of color arena is the Black woman. So any organization is doing business with me, first and foremost, they are letting me know that they mean business. Okay. And I think that it's important that organizations like that are saying we're investing in change, we're investing in our talent, because we are spending zillions of dollars investing in technology and innovation, products and services. If we're willing to do that, we've got to invest in our people. And because, Jeff, as you know, the research is saying, if that doesn't happen, can you just imagine, visualize the shift that technology is soaring, innovation, products and services, but your talent are still sitting there. The culture of your organization is still the same. That shift is so lopsided that it's going to soon just, demolish. You
Yeah.
will not survive if you don't invest in your people the same way you're investing in your products and services.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And, one of the things we always like to do for our listeners is give them information like your website, because I have been out there. And for our listeners, and we'll post this on our web podcast, obviously, there are so many free resources and things that you can go and download from Dr. Sheila. She's so gracious to offer these up. So we'll make sure we post that on our website.
Sure. Sheila, I'd like to follow along on that same line of what you were just saying. Something else I really wanted to discuss with you is this question about that I hear sometimes with some of my younger employees, because there's some frustration. Is workplace equality attainable? Even I hear well-meaning clients say this all the time, that they've ramped up their recruiting and retention efforts, but there just simply aren't enough qualified candidates to meet the workplace needs. How do you respond to that?
Well, first and foremost, I hold organizations accountable for creating equity for all of their talent. What are you doing to provide fair opportunities for all of your clients to meet to meet all of their needs? That's number one. That's so crucially important. And I mean your talent across every race, culture, and background. Okay. So the first thing that comes to my mind is when you do that, you are going to create that sense of belonging and, inclusion for everyone. And great leaders are needed for that, because great leaders care more about the success of their employees than they do themselves. And I think that they need to be transparent leaders. Think that they need to go in, and I think they need to focus on telling talent, especially this younger generation you referred to, the moment they walk in the door, define your mission, your purpose, and your value, why we're here. Define that. Encourage employees that leadership from the top, from the CEO to the last level position in the organization, we're all working in this together. Um, Define to them what it means to be your authentic self. Let them know, hey, this is what this means. It doesn't mean this. So be upfront and share with them upfront. And also let other employees tell why it's so amazing to work there. Create that engagement across, let the talent get engaged with each other, promote that togetherness, and to eliminate some of those cliques that exist. So, and then you want to let them know if opportunity exists for opportunity for growth, opportunity for success. I think I saw there is a company, and I can't think of it, where a CEO, he allows employees, they get $5,000 if they quit in 6 months. Because his thought process was 6 months will give you enough time to determine if this is the right place for you. So be okay with that. Have that open dialogue that we're in here. Let's see if you're going to enjoy this. Are we doing what we need to do to retain you? Because he said it is cheaper to give them $5,000 to leave in 6 months than to continue to train them and 9 months plus they leave. And so that's what leadership should do. They should be open to what is happening to the new generation, the new workplace trends, and create, concepts like that to protect the organization and the talent that they're hiring. Create a win-win for everybody involved.
Wow, those are such good best practices. And it always seems like we never have enough time for our shows. But for our listeners, we want to tee up that we're going to do another episode with Dr. Sheila, and it's going to air next week. So for now, Dr. Sheila, thank you so much for joining us. Thank our listeners. You'll find her books at your favorite bookseller on Amazon, any place you want to find it. Visit diversitywomen.com for the latest insights on what you need to know about leading in today's business environment. Subscribe to her amazing magazines. She is an expert at the highest level on all trends around DE&I. So Dr. Sheila, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me, and happy Black History Month to you, both you and Amanda.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheila. And cheers, everybody.
Cheers. I'm Jeffrey Tobias Halter. Thank you for joining us this week for Wind Down Wednesday.
Thank you for joining us for Wind Down Wednesday. If you like this episode, please subscribe to receive more episodes straight to your inbox.